For this NB, I'll be making a catback exhaust 2.5 inch with a 3.5 inch tip, so pretty huge. And the customer request was make it as loud as possible. I have ordered one muffler, a small Simmons one. They are absolutely awesome. I use them almost all the time. For turbo cars, you only need one muffler, and then on cruise, it's perfectly quiet, but when you step on it, they sound awesome. And if you're wondering what this here is, this is pretty cool. I use ear protection, and these are for music. And what they do, they're not something you put in your ear, because I got foam plugs in my ear, but these are bone conducting headphones. They send vibrations to your bones, and that way you can answer phone calls, listen to music while you're grinding or doing whatever. They are pretty cool. Bass is pretty weak, but you get used to it, and I'm a big fan of these. If you want them yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. Not sponsored or anything, but I really like them. I'm so happy that I bought the new welder. I got a Fronius machine, so it's top of the line. It's way better than my Chinese welder, which I owned previously. It worked like a charm, but it really was time for an upgrade. And the main thing was that, yeah, overall quality, but I also wanted a wireless foot pedal. And the cheap welders just don't have the quality that I needed and I wanted. So I got a wireless foot pedal, and it works absolutely awesome. I can control the amperage with my foot while I'm welding. The thing that I always try to accomplish is getting the exhaust as high up to the chassis as possible, or at least make sure that it isn't the lowest point of the car. Because if there's one thing that I hate, it will be a scraping exhaust. So this one is nice and snug. It's higher than the frame rails. That's the way it's supposed to be. And from here on, I need to lift it up like probably 4 centimeters. That way it clears the bracing. It can go over the bracing and underneath the axle. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. How I'm going to do that? I'm going to cut a 90 degree in half, rotate them. Then I got two 45s. So one is pointing up and the other one is pointing down. And that way you can get a lift of a few centimeters. And I'll show you it in a minute. Now that's what I call a nice fitting exhaust. One finger clearance here, one finger clearance here. Perfect. The first thing that I'll be doing is tacking up on more spots, because now the exhaust is tacked up on 2 spots per joint. And what I want is 4 tacks per joint. Why? Because the material pulls when it shrinks down after heating it up. And that means that the exhaust perhaps can go this way, or that way. And when you start welding here, at the end, the difference can be 2 centimeters, and the clearance like we just had is gone. So that's something I always do. The first question that I want to get out of the way is No, I'm not going to back purge this. For those of you who aren't familiar with back purging, when welding you're using a shielding gauze. That way all of the oxygen is gone, and you can also do it on the inside. The weld will look good on the inside as well, and it will be a bit stronger. If you're welding in the food industry, it's mandatory. And when you're doing exhaust manifolds or stuff like that, which gets really hot, then it's also necessary to do, otherwise it can crack. On exhausts, I never do it. 1, it takes a lot of time. 2, it is pretty expensive for the customer. And 3, it isn't necessary. I've done quite a lot of exhausts without doing it. I've never had one cracking or failing or whatever. So that's the reason why I don't back purge, if you want to ask. Now, let's start welding. I can't The exhaust is welded all the way up until here, of course. So the muffler goes here and then the last section. But like I said, first weld it section by section. That way it doesn't warp that much and you know exactly where the rear tip is going to end up. What I always try to do is make the fitment as good as possible. Now there are no exhaust hangers, so it will be a bit stiffer, but check this. It doesn't hit anything. And the fitment is superb. It's really good. Check it out. Well, that's pretty loud. The microphone couldn't even pick up the sound, it was that loud. During the test drive it was pretty okay, but still, like the customer requested, it is loud. And clearance everywhere is perfect, it doesn't rattle during the test drive, so that's awesome. This was the fun part of this car. The next thing which I need to fix are the chassis rails. I sell repair panels for the NBs because they have a lot of rust in the front chassis rails. So that's the next thing I'll be doing, but that won't be a video. So guys, I hope you like this video and let me know in the comments how you think the exhaust looks, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.